Hello and welcome back to the Scotland Magic educational series. I'm very excited to be talking to you today about how to grow a large online presence. Now you may be looking at our YouTube thinking, Gabby, you've got less than 200 followers. I know, that is why we're here. We're creating content, which is going to tie into my tips for today, FYI. But I have quite a large following on Instagram and on TikTok as well, and I've been doing this for many years, trying to figure out the exact way to make this a thing, and I've had multiple accounts before, and I beat my head against a brick wall trying to figure out why stuff hasn't worked before. But I feel like I've really kind of nailed down what it is that's making these accounts grow. And I want to share those tips with you today so that you can do the same thing. There's in a couple of videos before. I don't want you to sit here and think, oh, it's so cringe for me to start an Instagram. It's so cringe for me to start a TikTok, or I've missed the boat, or it's too late, or blah, 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 blah. I only started Scotland Magic this time last year and grew it from a 0 follower account to over 116,000 followers. I only joined TikTok maybe like 6 months after that, and I've raised that up to 75K as well. So you are not too late. You have not missed the boat. There is plenty of time, and there is more than enough space on the internet to go around. You have a specific viewpoint in the world. You have a specific set of skills. You have a specific niche, even if you don't know what that is yet, and you have information to give to others so that you can also build a really big online presence. I want to preface this by saying that just because you have a big online presence does not mean that you immediately monetize that or get money from it, or that it's going to solve all your problems, or it's going to heal your business, or fix this or fix that, or whatever. It is just a number at the end of the day. It's great to have. It does open a few doors. I'm not going to lie, but it does not solve all of your problems. And I think sometimes actually the bigger the following you have, the more problems you can encounter. So I just want to preface that by saying it's not a heal all or fix all, and shouldn't be the only goal that you have for yourself with your account. Your goal should be creating community, cultivating a beautiful audience of people who value you, who come to you for a point of authority, to provide value to others, to educate them, to entertain them, and to be part of a collective that is raising the world up a bit, right? Shifting the frequency, making the vibes good on the internet, rather than it being this like black hole of like suffering and sadness. So really the intention behind why you are creating this channel should be the first thing. So we are going to jump into the 6 tips to creating a large online presence. So the first thing I've just touched on is setting your intention before you create these channels. So whether it's YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever you decide to jump onto, is make sure that you're joining in there with like real solid intention as to why you want to be in that space. Are you contributing to a larger conversation? Are you providing value? Are you educating? Are you entertaining? Are you there to be a space where people connect? What is the intention behind what you're creating? To give you an example, when I started Scotland Magic, my intention at the time when I got started was to help me get out of a rut. I was really struggling in my photography business. I didn't know what I was doing with myself, and I had all of this content from shooting Scotland for the last couple of years, and I didn't know what to do with it. Billy actually suggested, my partner, he suggested, why don't you start an Instagram account just to showcase the beauty of Scotland because you love it so much? And I was like, sure, why not? And because of that love, it's grown to where it is today. But there are a few things that happen along the way to get me there. So I'm not just going to say that sharing pretty pictures does it, because that's not it. But my intention to start with my Instagram account was simply to share the beauty of Scotland and to help me get out of a rut. So the first thing to think about is, what is your intention? Why are you creating these channels or these platforms? Why is it important for you? And what do you kind of plan on doing then? My second tip to creating a large online presence is to experiment. So you've got your intention down pat, you know the why, and this can change as well, FYI, your intention and why can change along the way. Mine definitely did. But the second thing to think about is experimenting. So having fun, having a little bit of a play, seeing what works. Do you prefer TikToks? Do you prefer Reels? Do you prefer talking to the camera? Do you prefer not to? Do you prefer to just share photographs? You need to play and experiment and see what feels good for you, especially at the start. Sometimes this is actually the most fun bit, because if you have no followers or no expectation, then you can just kind of go for it. Whereas when you do grow a large online presence, you get a bit worried about changing up your format and all these kinds of things, because you think, what if it doesn't perform? What's my engagement rate going to be? And all of this. So this is actually such a fun time for you to experiment and play and just see what works. And this is such a fun time to, just experiment. Just play. You don't have to figure out consistency just yet, which is our third tip. I just want you to go out there and just put a bunch of stuff up there and see what hits. See what feels effortless for you. See what feels fun for you. That is where you're going to get started and start to get known for the content that you're creating. This is how people are going to go, oh, Gabby posts pictures of Scotland and Reels. That's cool. I'm going to give her a follow because I feel like I'm transported to Scotland when I see them. Or I follow XYZ because they make me laugh when I see their content. Or I follow this person because every time they post something, I feel like I want to save it because I find it so useful. So just experiment and play in this phase and figure out what feels good for you. And you're going to come back to this again at some point as well. I do this all the time. I'm always changing it up, always trying new things just so I don't get stale. Being stale and stagnant is not where you want to be. Sticking to something just because it's the way we've always done it or because somebody else has done it that way is definitely not the way. Really just experiment and find your own style and find what works for you. The third thing is consistency. So I know we just said don't worry about it, but once you've got that intention down pat, you know what type of content you enjoy creating. The next thing is to be consistent with that. Now, consistency looks different for everybody. When I first started out, start, I was hell-bent on posting a photo and a reel every day. We were in the pandemic. I was stuck in a rut. I had no work going on. I had plenty of time to do a reel and a photograph every single day, but I definitely am not in that position anymore. So consistency changes all of the time. And I heard somebody say this once and it really stuck with me. Consistency on social media is like a diet. If it does not feel sustainable, then it is not going to work. So if you're going to go in with the intention of, I'm going to post 3 times a day every day and never stop doing that, the likelihood of you doing it is pretty slim. Like, you're probably not going to follow it through, especially if you're someone who has struggled with social media already. So consistency can look like posting 1 picture a day from Monday to Friday, or it can look like once every second day. It could look like just on weekends. It doesn't matter what you decide, just pick something and go with the flow of it. And then when you decide you want to pick something new, go with the flow of that. There's always a thing with like brands, like if you imagine, for example, McDonald's decided today they're going to open their doors from 8 till 5, and then tomorrow they're not going to open, and on Thursday they're going to open from 7 till 1, and then they're not going to open for another couple of days. You wouldn't build trust with that brand, and you wouldn't be showing up to them because you think, oh, I don't know if they're going to be there today, so I'm not going to go my chicken nuggets. It's the same with your accounts. If you are inconsistent, then people don't build trust, or they don't feel that they can build that consistency with you, so they're less likely to engage frequently. So pick a consistency plan, stick with it. It's allowed to change, it's allowed to ebb and flow with time, but try and stick with something for at least 2 to 3 months so that you can really get into a good flow of it before you chop and change it straight away. I can take up to 2 to 3 months to start to see results from things as well, so be patient. The fourth thing that I want you to think about is that you are cultivating a community, not a group of followers. So you will actually have such a better time online when you start to build trust and beautiful energy with the people who you are communicating with online. I hate using the word followers. It feels a bit like, a bit icky to me. That's just me personally, but actually saying that you have an audience or a community, it feels like a much more inclusive way to kind of categorize the people who are following your accounts. So when you start to think about your audience as people in a community, how would you interact with them? You would comment back, you would support them with their businesses or their journey or whatever they're doing in their life. You'd respond to them, you'd save their content, you'd share their content, you would interact with them separately to your own account. A community is about giving back as much as you are receiving. So really start to view your platform as a place to have a community rather than just a set of followers, and then you're going to start to build beautiful trust with those people, and people love community. We always feel like a sense of, I want to be part of a group, I want to be part of a community. So if you can actually create a space where people feel safe to do that within whatever topic you're talking about, you're onto a winner. My fifth tip is to provide value. So as I said earlier, whether that is educational, entertainment, creating just space for people, whatever that is, you're providing value to people. And this is something I have to constantly come back to with Scotland Magic, and why I've started this series is because I love providing value. I love giving people tips and tricks and things to help them plan their trip, pose for photos, become a content creator, be a photographer. I love being able to pass that information on to people. It's very savable, it's very helpful, and people love value. People love to take things away, especially if it's free information. So make sure that all of your content is providing value in some way, and then people are going to be long-time community enthusiasts, long-time audience to your channel. And that's also as well what's going to help you grow to a larger number, because people come to trust you. As I said, you're a point of authority and they value your value. And the last tip, the sixth tip, is to have fun. This is meant to be enjoyable. It's called social media. It's meant to be fun. Don't get bogged down in the algorithm. Don't get bogged down in watching 3,000 vlogs a day on like how to build a big social media presence. Just watch mine. But really enjoy this. I honestly find that when I am vibing and I'm really enjoying my social platforms, they perform so much better. And actually when I take any of that expectation out of it and I just go with the flow and vibe with it, that's when it always performs the best and I have the best interactions and I'm really just enjoying myself, and that goes for everything in life. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope that has helped give you a couple of tips on how to build a big online social media presence. If you have any questions, feel free to pop them below, or any questions for further videos, I would love to make some for you. So thank you for watching. Make sure you like, follow and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.